What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Matt.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we're going to talk about the easiest way to split wood and to get a bunch of wood split at once. It's how we've been doing it for the last 3 years.
A while,
Yeah,
for sure.
3 or 4 years. And it's been nice. So what we do is we do a community wood splitting party. So we have 2 other families that we split with, and we pick days and we just split a bunch of wood. And we have it down. Like normally it's once a year. Sometimes it's only once a year. And like this year we got 3 in this year.
Yeah, I think efficiency is key with it. It kind of helps us to just, we all have a role when we're splitting wood. There's somebody
Stacking, someone always splitting. We have 2 splitters. One of them is always doing the chunks of the bigger woods, and then the other one is doing the smaller stuff. So what we like to tend to do is, we got pretty lucky where we do it all in the center. So one of the houses that we do it with, they live in the middle of us 3. So we do it at their house, and we keep everything there because they have the space for us to do that. So it's pretty nice. We go there and we grab it. So if you didn't have that, what you could do is team up and just alternate your houses to go to and do it every year. But it works out really slick, and we're getting more and more ahead every time we do it.
Yeah, it's cool to see the wood building up after you're done for the year and you've already got your wood starting to season for future years.
Yeah. So what we like to do is stack it underneath our 4 season every fall, and then we know about how much we use, and that's anywhere from 3 cord. On a really bad year, it's 3.5, but always it's 2 to 3 cord. So we tend to just put 3 cord down here, and that's what we pull out of every time, all year.
Yeah.
We set it up as an assembly line, and when we do that, we have one splitter that's just doing all the chunks, like a lot of the chunks, and there's 2 of us that do that. One guy is normally cutting and staying ahead, and we'll alternate people that way, so this way the cutter won't get sore or wore out, and vice versa. And then generally we have 3 people that are, 2 people that are stacking, and 1 person that's splitting the stuff that we chunk. And then the kids, they actually come and help quite a bit, and they're getting to the age where they're helping more and more, and it's actually pretty nice.
One thing we do that I think helps a lot too is I tend to get a little lightheaded if I'm bending down to pick up wood and stacking it and bending down and stacking it. So we put it in wheelbarrows. So we kind of have like a wheelbarrow assembly. How do you say that? Wheelbarrow? Barrel?
Wheelbarrow assembly line?
Whatever it's called. An assembly line of those going. So that way you can move it right to where your stack is, even if the stack of wood you were splitting isn't in the right spot.
Yeah, so
That makes sense.
we do the musical
Musical
wheelbarrows.
wheelbarrows.
Yeah. It works really nice because you're not always bending over, and we actually found the last 2 times we did that, none of our backs were sore.
Yeah, and nobody got lightheaded.
Yeah.
It's also really nice to do it in the fall. I do like when we split and stack in the fall. So this last one we did was in the fall, but wasn't it like 90 degrees?
Yeah, it got
It was
hot.
kind of hilarious.
It was 60s all week, and
Yeah.
then there was 2 days that was 90.
And that's when we planned it. And that kind of is the downfall of when you plan it. And we did cut that day a little short because it rained as well.
Yep.
So that is kind of the downfall of that. But for the most part, it works out. And when you're doing it with a small group of people, you can usually get your calendars to coordinate a
Yeah.
couple times a year.
Yeah, we were lucky, and this year we got 3 times. So we got a spring, we got a midsummer, we did one, and then we did one this fall. So it worked out really well. So we got quite a bit done, because you'd be surprised what you can get done with 6 people and then a couple of kids splitting and stacking.
Yeah, I'm always amazed when the kids come and help what they
Yeah.
can do. I think they forget how helpful they actually are.
Yeah, and it's really nice and really, really helpful.
It is.
And they're
it is.
only getting stronger and older.
Well, and this pile we brought back, is this from wood we cut last year, we think?
That was last spring.
Last spring.
Yep.
Okay, so a while ago.
Yep. So it's a year and a half about.
Yeah. So it's nice to be able to catch up too. We found that those 3 cuttings seem to be perfect for us to get ahead.
And so we did a bunch of calling to get other people, other tree services to come out. So now around us, a lot of places to bring your trees, you have to pay. So for us, that's a good thing, because when we call the tree service companies, they're more than happy to drop off. So we get some stuff that is, we try to tell them to give us the nice logs, don't cut them in little chunks. But there's some that just come in chunks and you have to deal with it. But it's okay. It's all free wood and they drop it off. And we have quite a bit of it now.
Yeah, and we definitely have paid for wood in the past, which is okay.
Yep.
It actually still works in our benefit when we pay for wood. But this is so nice, and to just give up just a couple days a year for it, and it ends up being such a great fellowship time too.
Yeah, because we heat our whole house with just wood. Supplemental heat, like during the holidays if we're not home, or for the day when I'm not stoking it because
or it's -20, we just can't quite keep up.
-20, yeah, and you have to load it 4 times a day. But otherwise, normally our house is always in the mid-70s throughout the whole winter, so it works out pretty nice.
It's too hot.
It's short weather in our house.
Yeah, you have to have multi-layers if you want to go outside.
Yeah. So if you're new to burning wood and new with wood stove and the whole thing, because I notice a lot of people are getting into it, you want to make sure your wood is seasoned, and typically you want it like 2 year is a good mark, especially for oak. A lot of hardwoods, otherwise a lot of people do a year, but to get a meter tester is a really good idea. We have one of those and we test it, make sure it's all dry. We found we can get away with a year on most of the stuff around here, but oak we always leave for 2 years. So we set different spots for that kind of wood.
Just having a system too, so you know which wood is the wood you're taking. So if you leave off somewhere starting there, the falling cutting, and you can kind of keep track that way, or actually label it, whatever works for you.
Yeah. We found what we like to do is have 3 pallets on the ground and take 2 stakes, T-post, and put in the ground, and then put another pallet on each end, and then we stack our wood that way. And we found that dries the fastest, and you put 1 strip of plastic on the top or tin, whatever you have. We found that is the fastest of drying, and then we leave a 3-foot gap in between each one, so there's plenty of airflow. And it definitely dries really fast that way.
And then when we stack it for our own use, we don't worry quite as much about that because it's already seasoned. So then we stack it a little differently.
When we bring it back to our house, we just stack it really nicely and tight in this area. And that's only because we don't have a lot of room here. So we have to utilize our space. And it's already dry, so it doesn't matter because it's not wet, it doesn't need the airflow. So it's already dried, so we can put it in there, and then as long as it's still covered, it won't get wet.
Well, we previously tried other methods. We used to keep it over in the woods. We did that for seasoning it, right? Mm-hmm. And what we found is
it always stayed wet. But I think also we had it too wide. We went too wide with it, and we would go, I think it was 5 or 6 rows deep, and it was just too tight, so the wood never dried. The other thing is we had our shed down here where the chickens are. We would put all the wood in there and stack it up really tight, and there was no air gaps, and we found that everything on the top and in the front was dry. Once you get 2 rows in, it was wet wood.
Yeah, so that just didn't work for us. So It's nice to be able to find ways that work. And you kind of had to do a different style this year when we were stacking it because we wanted to go really high.
So when we're stacking in here to do the ends, we do the crisscross method on the ends. So you do 3 of them this way, and then you do 3 of them this way, 3 of them this way, and it makes a wall, and then you can stack into it.
It looks exactly like a Jenga.
Yes.
Like how you would stack Jenga blocks through this way, through that way. Exactly the same. Only they're not as even of blocks. And don't take out a random piece of
that. And that's the part, yeah. When you do,
we'll have to remind the kids of that.
Yeah. When you're stacking like that, you have to try to find the similar pieces because you don't want one huge one and one little one, because then it's going to kittywampus, and you don't want that. You want it to be stacked nice.
You know what I like about keeping the wood for winter right under the deck? And what I think the kids like too?
Close to the house.
It's close to the house. And we tend to ask them a lot, like, grab a sled of wood. So if it's way down in the lean-to or it's way out in the woods, you're trekking through the snow with a sled, carrying up wood, and it's usually not even one sled full. You're usually taking a couple.
Yeah.
So you can store it up for the night and everything and warm it up a little bit.
One kid sled that we use, we'd put enough wood in there. Well, those wood carriers, we would go through, on a typical winter, we'd go through one of those in a day. If it was in the negatives during the day and even colder, like -20 at night, we would go through 2 to almost 3 of those in a day.
Yeah.
So to put it in perspective for you, if you're new to this.
Yeah, so if you start in the morning, it's nice, or the night before, to load everything up, get it all in the house for the day or the next day, prepare ahead of time.
Yep.
If you don't have the space in the house to keep a lot of wood. Some people do.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be really nice. We do have an area we keep some, and we can get, I think it's 4 days worth in there. But like I said, when it gets really cold, then that turns into 2 days, you know. So. Well, I hope this helps someone, and glad you got to see us again.
Bye.
Bye.